If you're in your 40s and 50s and noticing that extra weight building up around your midsection, you're not alone. I'm right there with you. That menopause belly fat is no joke, and it feels like it creeps up overnight. You haven't changed your routine, you haven't changed your habits, but yet somehow it just keeps on creeping in. I know it can be very frustrating because I thought I was practicing healthy habits until I realized they weren't really working for me anymore. Honestly, I can almost deal with the hot flashes and brain fog, but once that stubborn belly fat started piling on, that's kind of where I drew the line. Well, in today's video, I'm sharing 5 healthy habits that I've implemented over the last year or so to help reduce my belly fat. It's working for me, and I thought I'd share it. If you're new here, hello, I'm Maria, and I'm sharing my real life through midlife and menopause, sharing everything I do to keep my body strong, my mind sharp, and my motivation high. I keep it within reach and very doable. So let's welcome midlife with open arms and let this chapter be our best one yet. Gone are the days of my sugary sweet Honey Nut Cheerios for breakfast or my overly sweet Dannon yogurt with fruit on the bottom. One of the first biggest changes I made was prioritizing protein for breakfast, at least 25 to 30 grams. There are 2 big culprits that cause us to gain weight through the midsection in our midlife. One of them is losing our insulin sensitivity, and that happens when estrogen goes down. Starting your morning off with a sugary breakfast spikes your insulin, increases your blood sugar, and increases the chances of adding fat to your midsection. A high-protein breakfast will stabilize your blood sugar, helping you to feel fuller longer and reducing the chances of having that mid-morning or early afternoon crash. From a science standpoint, protein actually lowers your hunger hormone and boosts your satiety hormone so that you have fewer cravings throughout the day. When I start my morning off with a high-protein breakfast, I almost have to force myself to have lunch just to ensure that I'm getting enough calories in the day. I still love my yogurt in the morning, but now I opt for plain Greek yogurt. But I always make sure they're plain yogurt with no added sugar. I want to control what I put into my yogurt. Here's my most favorite go-to breakfast. This is 2 cups of Greek yogurt. I either go with non-fat or full fat. This is organic raspberry and blueberry. This is a grain-free granola. It is no sugar added, and I only do 1 serving, 30 grams, which is enough to give a good crunch to this but not spike my blood sugar. Chia seeds, 1 tablespoon, and 2 tablespoons of psyllium husk for some added fiber. And other mornings, eggs are my second favorite choice of breakfast. My breakfast this morning is scrambled eggs. This is 3 whole eggs with 1 cup of egg white. This is about 40 grams of protein right in this meal. I add a little salsa. I'm very simple, salt and pepper, delicious, and it keeps me very satiated. I used to think that the best way to get lean is by doing cardio, excessive cardio, huffing and puffing, and stressing your body out with overdoing it on the treadmill and elliptical machine. Intense cardio that you feel like you're going to pass out afterwards. But now I've come to realize that strength training is far more of a game changer on my body composition than cardio ever was. Once again, as estrogen goes down, you guessed it, our muscle mass also goes down. So it is crucial in our midlife years that we compensate by strength training even harder than we used to. I'm no longer reaching for those 3 pounds and 5 pound weights to tone my muscles. Over the last year or so, I've been trying to condition my body to go heavier and heavier. I built my way up from those 3 and 5 pound weights up to the 8 and 10 pound weights, and I'm even experimenting with 15 and 25 pounds on occasion. And I'm trying to build my way up to there, so that is my new normal. I always wanted to be toned, but I would fear that I would bulk up. I didn't want to work out my legs, and I didn't want my arms to get too big because I thought I would look a little too masculine. Even just this small bump up to challenging myself with some heavier weights, I've seen my body start to lean out and build more muscle. And lean muscle equals higher metabolism. Muscle keeps us strong, and at this point in midlife, for me, yes, it is a little bit about vanity, but it's also about longevity. I want to be strong, I want to be fit, and I want to be mobile well into my late years of life. And you absolutely do not need to join a gym or hire a coach or hire a personal trainer. You can do this in the comfort of your own home, for free through YouTube. YouTube has an enormous amount of resources for beginners, for experts, and I use them as a guide. I follow them day by day, and they help me get through upper body, lower body, and I get a full workout just in the comfort of my home. All you need is some weights, a floor mat, maybe a couple of other things like resistance bands or yoga blocks. Do it in your living room, in your bedroom, wherever you have space. You don't need a lot of room. Of course, if you have absolutely no idea what you're doing, it might be best to hire a personal trainer for a couple of sessions just to get yourself familiar and understanding what all the moves are, what proper form is, so you don't injure yourself. But above and beyond that, I really don't think you need it. Unless, however, it's a way for you to help keep yourself accountable and on track with your goals, then perhaps hiring a coach or a personal trainer could help you out. But I have the motivation and the drive to do it myself, and I enjoy doing it. It still sometimes feels a little bit like a chore, but for the most part, I love how it's transforming my body, and for me, it's very much worth it. As this becomes less and less challenging, I will go up in size, and I know eventually I probably will need to go to the gym, because if I do want to continue to challenge myself further, there'll be a point in time where the hand weights just won't be sufficient, and I'll need to move over to machines. But that time hasn't come yet, and until then, I'm going to keep growing my muscles and building strength right in the comfort of my own home. Walking might sound simple and mundane, but I swear by it. And for the last year at least, I have been walking every morning for about an hour, sometimes even longer if I have time. That equates to at least 8,000 steps right off the bat, right in the morning. Walking helps to reduce cortisol. And if you recall, I mentioned that there are two culprits in midlife that add belly fat. One of them is insulin resistance, and the other one is cortisol. And you guessed it, once you start to lose estrogen, the ability to control cortisol goes out the window, and your cortisol goes up a lot easier than it used to, and cortisol equals belly fat. So going out first thing in the morning, getting your steps in, feeling the sun on your body, creating that vitamin D, and starting your day with a relaxing walk helps reduce that cortisol throughout the day. 8,000 steps is a great start, but try to push for more. And I do that in simple ways. I try to stand as much as possible, especially when I'm working at my desk. There are times where I need to sit down because I really need to focus and hone in on my work. But I do make it a point to get up at least every 45 minutes and walk around a little bit, do some air squats, just something to get my muscles in motion and just to stretch out a little bit from sitting down all day. My husband and I also try to walk at least 10 minutes every day after dinner. Even some short walks after dinner have shown to improve insulin sensitivity. Not to mention it helps aid with digestion and helps get your body in motion, if you know what I mean. Personally, I love it when it cools down a little bit. I try to bundle up as much as possible, but there's going to be a time when the temperatures are just a little too frigid to go outside. So I will find my way to get my 8,000 to 10,000 steps and then some by standing as much as possible, doing little tasks around the house, even little efforts like running to the grocery store, parking as far away as possible. That way you have longer to walk. You'll be surprised how much those steps add up. Through my 30s and 40s, I highly undervalued the benefits of sleeping. I thought, hey, I'm young, I will sleep when I'm dead, right? I worked long hours, I stayed up late. Maybe I got 5 to 6 hours of sleep a night, and maybe in my 30s and 40s it worked, but now it is no longer serving me. And this one has surprised me the most. Aiming for 7 to 8 hours of sleep has truly changed how I feel throughout the day, and not to mention my hunger levels. Studies have shown that women that sleep 6 hours or less are more likely to increase their belly fat. Lack of sleep increases ghrelin, that hunger hormone I talked about earlier, and it makes it harder to resist snacking and overeating in an effort to try to fuel your body and give yourself energy because you're lacking sleep. I've definitely noticed a direct correlation between my hunger and my sleep. So I aim for at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night. 7 is good, but 8 is even better. And that has made a tremendous difference in how I feel throughout the day, and I feel like it's had a direct impact on my diet, my motivation, and my productivity. This one is a little personal. One of the biggest reasons I think I started gaining a lot of midsection weight, yes, it was due to perimenopause and menopause, but also it was due to high stress levels. I had a lot of stressful things happen last year, from the death of my mother to the close of my business to preparing to leave the state, all of which I've talked about on this channel before, so if you want to catch up on some of my old videos, they're there for you to see. But of course, when your body is in a state of stress, the cortisol is higher than ever, and because your estrogen is low from perimenopause and menopause, there's no longer enough of it in your system to help regulate the cortisol, so the cortisol is going out of control. And when your body is in a state of stress, the common analogy is running from a tiger. When you're running from a tiger for your life, your body just goes into a protective mode. So it's holding on to all your fat and all your weight as a form of protection. So I've built in some little self-care rituals just to help de-stress myself and keep myself calm throughout the day. I wake up in the morning and stay in bed for about 5 to 10 minutes and listen to some daily affirmations that really gets my mind motivated and feeling positive energy for the day. I've always been a very negative, worrywart type of person, but these affirmations really help me try to be a little more positive. And yes, I fall into my little negativity spurts here and there, but for the most part, I try to remind myself how wonderful my life is, that good things are coming and good things are here already. So that helps a lot. Another thing that really helps me is enjoying some tea. This is some spearmint tea, and I try to enjoy a couple of mugs a day. Just that warm beverage, it's very calming, and this is caffeine free, so I'm not jumping off the walls. I also remind myself to stop and breathe every once in a while. I think we all tend to breathe very shallowly, and I feel like just taking those deep, big breaths and filling your lungs and opening up your diaphragm just really helps feel a sense of calmness afterwards. It's just doing these little things throughout the day that help protect my peace and keep me very calm. And I'm sure they're definitely doing more good than harm to my midsection. Next up is my Midlife Minute, and this is a new segment on this channel that I'm going to be talking about on a weekly basis and just sharing something that I've been obsessed with or something that's really helped me in the given week. And this week, my new obsession has been creating a newsletter for you. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I tried to do a Substack for a short minute, but I got away from it, and now I'm back at it, and I've created a newsletter through my website. This newsletter is free, and it's going to be a mashup of my two channels, fashion and wellness. And if you sign up, you'll get an instant download of a freebie that is a supplement to this video, where I created a 5-day belly fat reset to help you implement these habits. It's very simple, it's printable, and it's a great way to help keep you on track. And of course, part of midlife is having a balance, enjoying life. And I do have my fair share of indulgences, but I always come back to these 5 daily habits. They help keep me anchored and feeling good about myself, so that's why I always come back to them. Controlling midlife belly fat is not about punishing workouts or starving yourself. It's about implementing small daily habits like these that help support our hormones. And these 5 tips are definitely making a difference for me, and I hope they would for you as well. Please tell me in the comments which of these habits do you think would be easiest to implement if you're not doing it already, and which ones do you think you struggle with the most. I'd love to chat with you friend to friend, and please be sure to subscribe so that we can continue on this journey together and support one another. Remember, our midlife is our time to shine brighter than ever. I'll see you in the next video.